There is little that rivals the feeling of experiencing a good mystery. The tension and confusion as the clues come your way until the final piece of the puzzle brings forth a horrifying revelation.
But they're quite hard to make for your games. They're supposed to be hard to figure out by design. So how do you make a mystery for your games? Hey everyone, welcome to Dungeon Bits, and I'm going to show you how. First of all, remember, your players aren't dumb. They've probably watched at least one mystery movie before, and they've had a lot of time in and out the session to figure it out. So, if your players figure out the mystery, don't throw a tantrum because they worked it out. Just keep quiet and let them keep figuring it out. Then, when the final piece of the puzzle is revealed and they see that they were right, even from early on in the game, congratulate them and reward them for figuring it out. They paid attention to your game and got the satisfaction of being a sleuth. That was the point, right? Also, a note to the players. If your GM puts on a mystery and you figure it out, don't be a douche by saying that it was too easy, basically saying that their mystery was crap. So, here's how you make a mystery. Are you ready? Make a story, give the clues bit by bit, give them the most crucial piece of info at the end, and consider what will happen if the players interfere. There you go. But to go into more detail, a mystery plot is basically just a story that the players or viewers weren't there to see when it happened, and they now have to find clues. So, whatever setting you're in, make a strange or diabolical scene that could have occurred in this world with its technology or magic, and break it up into chunks. Have the players experience pieces of evidence bit by bit. An example of this would be the vaults from Fallout. Take note from these, they're amazing. You have this location where you have to survive, but there is a hidden story that you have to piece together from leftover scenes and terminal entries. Have all the evidence be vague and small, and if you give a note, you don't need to make connections between the evidence in the note, unless it's given at the end to help solve the mystery more easily because the players are supposed to connect the dots. But almost counterintuitively, don't be greedy with information. Let the players have info and then reward them for trying to solve it. But the reward for being engaged and trying to solve your puzzle should not be blatant info, but instead more obscure info. It almost doesn't sound right to give the players weird info, but when you give the investigator a new layer to ponder over, it's so fun. Making the mystery weirder with a new unexpected bit of information is so much more fun than rewarding the player by just solving the mystery, because then it's over. Also, while you're making sure that you don't give the identity of the murderer away in the first hour, don't make the final bit of information an unfair plot twist. An unfair plot twist is a twist on the plot where it completely changes the evidence learned and makes it so that the players could never have figured it out. That's not outsmarting them, it's just wasting their time. So, make the scene, be it a murder or another strange occurrence, and spread out the info, and the breadcrumbs that you employ could be anything like specks of blood, potentially unreliable accounts from witnesses, or hastily stored or burnt notes. The next key component of creating a mystery is tension, because if you just shut your players in a box and say, the clues are in this house, go find them, then it feels akin to cleaning up rather than a super exciting mystery. You could add tension by employing a ticking clock. Solve the mystery of who killed the maid before the murderer kills again at the Duchess's ball tonight. This is far more intense than any combat encounter, because it requires the players to figure it out, rather than just deferring to their character sheets to help solve the problem for them. And finally, consider what will happen as they keep on investigating, as they lift the veil and see things that they weren't supposed to. Perhaps the murderer kills again, which provides more evidence and shows that the clock is always ticking, and the paranoia is always building. So, let me give you an example that I made for this video, and the title of this mystery will be at the end. For the last 4 years, around the same time each year, a dead body has been found in the alleyways. The victims are always students, and they are found without the usual cuts and bruises after a scuffle. This certainly isn't out of the question for a world with magic, but what is strange is how the bodies' faces are always sunken in somewhat. They look sad, in a way. While the players oversee a body, a nearby guard whispers about the dancing man, a legend around these parts, and another guard tells him to shut up about ghost stories when there's a real death right in front of them. Then at the crime scene, the PC with the best eyesight sees something that the guards don't. What looks like a nail or piton. It's not bloody like it was used as a weapon, but a strange detail about it. It smells like roses. This unfortunate victim was a young lady at the arcane college in town, so the players are suggested to go to the victim's dorm. Inside, they find a note saying that she's enjoying school and her studies into enchantment since she's finished with divination, but quite shockingly, she also said that she found a note, which is now in the journal, full of awful threats from someone saying that they were going to get her if she walked alone at night. If the players investigate the school that she attended, then they will meet with her teacher, who is a charming older man who laments at how sad it is because she was so bright and full of potential, the brightest he has seen for years of teaching. But this note that they mention is news to him. But now that he knows, he's going to help out by looking into this and seeing who could have passed her the note to perhaps uncover the killer. Then, on the way back to the tavern that evening, the players see a man in the street at night, dancing. Remembering what the guard said, they confront him, but just see that he's some drunk guy who says that he was dancing home because it's his birthday. Something that happens every year at around this time, of course. It's good to throw in some red herrings for the players. Then, after a restless night, the PC's awake to the news that there's another victim. This doesn't usually happen. It's always just the one victim. This time, it's a young man who has had his head bashed in. And the guards don't reckon it's connected since the different nature of the killings, but the players think otherwise because he too was a student. And the players see something else, a bloody rag. And what is also on that rag? Ink. Then, by putting all the clues together, they encounter the killer, the real dancing man. And who is it? The teacher. Once you've shown him the note, he was able to compare the handwriting on the homework that he checks and identify which student was trying to scare her away from being alone at night. But why kill for so many years? Well, the old man feared the end, so he made a deal with the Devil of Knowledge to annually give it a brain of a knowledgeable person, or it will take his. And each time he finished his crime, he would dance in joy to check that his bodily rejuvenation was restored. But not confident in his own strength to kill and crack open a skull, the teacher undertook his own way of killing, removing the brain through the nose with a hook. But how would you even do this without being stopped by the victim? By using a spell. Hold person. And they would use it right now on the players that know too much, but they seem to have dropped their spell component. A straight piece of iron. No matter. They have another spell to deal with all of you at once anyway. The sleep spell. And its spell component? Rose petals, of course. And that is the mystery of the dancing man. I came up with it while doing other tasks throughout my day, and you can create your own mysteries too. Or just use that one. Because there are fantastic mysteries in books, movies, and shows that you can use to inspire you, or just directly put into your own game. Don't overthink it. Make a crime scene and leave vague breadcrumbs leading to the conclusion. Your players will love to theorize as to what happened, even when they have a single piece of evidence. I think of all the types of games to prep for, be it pulp adventure, dungeon crawling, or heists, mysteries are of the hardest to think up on your own, but the formula is really a matter of what story is being investigated and what clues you give your players. If you take the fear surrounding mysteries off your shoulders and just see them as a story and clues, hopefully you'll be inspired to give it a try, and you'll do great. And of course, let me know your favourite mysteries. Thank you for watching. I'm Ellis, and if you like this video, click the one on screen to see 10 things that I wish I knew when I first started GMing. 10 years of experience in 10 short tips. I love you all, and I'll see you next Saturday.